Payment scheme to be identified for housewives. Raids leads to 200,000 in drugs seized. Salam Malaysia Madani, watching Malaysia Tonight with me, Shuhaida Arifin. There's a need to establish a payment system for housewives to acknowledge their contributions and sacrifices in managing households. Women, Family and Community Development Minister Datuk Seri Nancy Shukri said this mechanism is also serve as a method to empower women economically. Referring to housewives as unpaid labour, she noted that this is because many of them are not financially supported by their husbands.
Biasanya wanita lah yang oleh kerana naluri wanita, mereka terus menjadi orang yang memberi keutamaan kepada ini dan mereka tidak bekerja. Padahal negara kita rugi kerana orang ini kadang-kadang mereka mempunyai pemikiran yang bagus untuk membantu ekonomi.
Datuk Seri Nancy hoped that the government, possibly through the Social Security Organisation, can find mechanisms to compensate for this unpaid labour. To boost women's participation in the workforce, she also said employers have a vital role in motivating the group to join the organisations. Due to the greater loyalty displayed by most women towards an organisation, she said it is essential to have women as employees to ensure the smooth and effective functions of the organisations. A cybersecurity bill will be tabled in Parliament by the end of this year at the earliest. Communications and Digital Minister Fahmi Fadil said the bill is currently being drafted by the National Cybersecurity Agency (NACSA) under the National Security Council to strengthen Malaysia's resilience and response to cyber threats.
Sekarang dalam proses untuk dibawa ke Jemaah Menteri dulu sebelum perincian kepada undang-undang itu dapat kita jelaskan di khalayak umum. Proses ini berjalan dan saya percaya tak lama lagi pihak NACSA akan dapat sampaikan sedikit apa yang terkandung dalam undang-undang itu.
The minister was met after officiating the inaugural Cyber Digital Services Defence and Security Asia 2023 at the Kuala Lumpur Convention Centre. Earlier in his speech, Fahmi said the drafting of the bill is the government's effort to tackle cyber threats.
Strengthening regulatory frameworks is vital to address emerging technologies like the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, and advanced cloud computing. These technologies offer immense opportunities, but also come with significant risks.
Meranti Assemblyman Dato' Muhammad Nasruddin Daud was sworn in as the 9th Menteri Besar of Kelantan today. He took his oath of office before the Sultan of Kelantan, Sultan Muhammad V, at Astana Negeri in Kubang Krian. At the swearing-in ceremony, Dr. Muhammad Fazli Hassan was also sworn in as the new Deputy Menteri Besar of the state. In addition to the Menteri Besar and Deputy Menteri Besar, 9 Assemblymen, 8 from PAS and 1 from Bersatu were sworn in as members of the Kelantan State Executive Council. In the state election last Saturday, Dato' Muhammad Nasruddin, who's also the Kelantan PAS Information Chief, retained the Meranti seat after defeating Zahri Omar from Barisan Nasional with a majority of 9,154 votes. PAS and its PNLI Bersatu succeeded in forming a state government in Kelantan after sweeping 43 out of 45 seats in the state. The elected Assemblyman for RU Rendang, Datuk Seri Dr. Ahmad Samsuri Mokhtar, was sworn in as the Menteri Besar of Terengganu for the second term today. The PAS Vice President took his oath of office at 3:18 p.m. before the Sultan of Terengganu, Sultan Mizan Zainal Abidin, at Istana Syarkiah in Cendering. At the ceremony, 10 elected assemblymen were also sworn in as the new state executive councillors. Also present at the swearing-in ceremony of the new Menteri Besar and State Executive Councillor were Yang di-Pertuan Muda of Terengganu, Tengku Muhammad Ismail Sultan Mizan Zainal Abidin and Tengku Muhammad Muaz Sultan Mizan Zainal Abidin. Dato' Seri Dr. Ahmad Samsuri, who was first appointed as Menteri Besar in 2018, was reappointed to lead the state government after the alliance of PAS and Bersatu made a clean sweep of all 32 seats in the polls last Saturday. Polis will summon Kedah Menteri Besar Dato' Seri Muhammad Sanusi Mat Noor to have his statement recorded for displaying his ballot paper to media personnel during polling day last Saturday. Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Razaruddin Hussein said the investigation into the case would be conducted from various aspects, including whether an election offence was committed.
Bila ada report, kita menyiasat. Bagi menuduh atau tidak menuduh bukan di pihak kita, di pihak AGC, Peguam Negara. Di Peguam Negara. Dan kita juga mempunyai cadangan-cadangan bila kita hantar kepada Peguam Negara dengan melihat semua keterangan-keterangan yang ada dan seksyen yang bersesuaian.
He said this in a press conference after witnessing a duty handover ceremony of the Crime Investigation Department Director post today. According to Tan Sri Razaruddin, the case will be investigated under Section 5, Subsection 1 and Section 26, Subsection 1, Subsection G of the Election Offences Act. In another development, the IGP confirmed that the police had received a verbal request to apply for an Interpol red notice on Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin's son-in-law and a lawyer. Following that, he said the Royal Malaysia Police PDRM and the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC will work closely together in the case. The Attorney General's Chamber, AGC, has filed an appeal against the High Court's decision to acquit former Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin of 4 abuse of power charges for allegedly using his position to obtain RM232.5 million in gratification for Bersatu through the Jana Wibawa project. Attorney General Tan Sri Idrus Harun said the appeal against this morning's court decision is only with regard to the 4 charges under Section 23 of the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission Act 2009. Tan Sri Idrus in a statement said there are still 3 other charges against Tan Sri Muhyiddin under Section 4, Subsection 1 of the Anti-Money Laundering, Anti-Terrorism Financing and Proceeds of Unlawful Activities Act 2001, for which the case mentioned at the Kuala Lumpur Sessions Court is set for 19th September. This morning, High Court Judge Datuk Muhammad Jamil Hussein allowed Tan Sri Muhyiddin's application to strike out the predicate charges under Section 23 of the MACC Act and free him of all 4 charges. Tan Sri Muhyiddin was accused of using his position as Prime Minister and Bersatu President at the time to obtain for the political party RM232.5 million from 3 companies, namely Bukhari Ikuti Sdn Bhd, Napturi Sdn Bhd and Mamfo Sdn Bhd. A drug processing syndicate was thwarted as 3 local men were arrested in simultaneous raids in Pulau Pinang conducted yesterday. The suspects, aged between 25 and 37, were taken to custody with a variety of drugs worth RM200,000. Pulau Pinang Police Chief Datuk Kau Kok Chin said raids took place at 4:30 p.m. across the separate residences in Seberang Perai Selatan and Seberang Perai Tengah. Investigations revealed that the residences were into an illegal drug processing lab at Simpang 4 Seberang Perai Selatan. Various types of drugs, drug processing equipment, vehicles and jewellery were seized during the raids. Briefing reporters today, Datuk Kau said the police is still investigating whether there's a larger syndicate behind the operation. He added that urine screening tests for drugs for the 3 suspects recorded negative. The 3 are under remand until 21st August for further investigation. The case is being investigated under Section 39B of the Dangerous Drugs Act. Still ahead, 35 dead in Russian explosion. At least 35 people were killed in an explosion that created a huge fireball at a fuel station in Russia's remote Caucasus Republic of Dagestan, spurring condolences from President Vladimir Putin on Tuesday. Scenes were seen showing burned-out cars silhouetted by the massive blaze and rescue workers in helmets attempting to put out the fire and clear rubble. Government ministries said 35 people had died and 80 had been injured. The explosion in the city of Makakala happened at a fuel station after a fire broke out. Officials said the fire started at an auto repair shop on the roadside of a highway on Monday night and caused a blast as it spread out to the nearby petrol station. Over 100 people were also injured in the blast, 13 of them children, Interfax reported earlier, citing the Dagestani Health Ministry. It took firefighters more than 3.5 hours to put out the fire that spread into an area of 600 square meters. Nearly 900 flights in Japan were cancelled and 240,000 people were ordered to move to safety as a slow-moving typhoon made landfall early on Tuesday, cutting off power to tens of thousands of homes. Typhoon Land, approaching from the Pacific Ocean, made landfall at the southern tip of Wakayama Prefecture, some 400 kilometers southwest of Tokyo, lashing much of central and western Japan with heavy rain and powerful winds. Authorities issued flood and landslide warnings and some tornadoes formed. Evacuation centres have been set up in safe buildings and high ground for residents across 11 prefectures whom the Fire and Disaster Management Agency told to seek shelter. As well as the disruption to flights, the dangerous rain and wind forced the closure of some roads and the suspension of dozens of train services. Utilities said power outages hit almost 90,000 households in central and western areas. Typhoon Land had sustained winds of 150 kilometers per hour and was moving northwest across the west of the main island of Honshu at around 15 kilometers per hour. It was forecast to reach the Sea of Japan by early Wednesday and move north according to Japan's weather agency. Coming up in sports, Astana becomes first world-class team for LTDL 2023. Stay with us.
Tamasya sukan terulung di benua Asia kini bakal beraksi. Satu hati dengan semangat kesukanan, perjuangan dalam keharmonian. Sukan Asia ke-19 Hangzhou 2022 bersama RTM, penyiar rasmi.
Astana Kazakhstan team Astana, a world status team, became the first professional team to confirm their participation in the Tour de Langkawi LTDL 2023 from 23rd to 30th September. LTDL in a statement said, although the Astana team did not produce a significant result last season, the team has become a regular face in the LTDL since their first participation in 2012 and regarded as the team to watch in the 8 stages during the 27th edition of the race. LTDL in the statement said that though Astana has not sent the names of 6 riders, the organisers are confident that the team managed by legendary rider Alexander Vinokourov would field a strong team to challenge for honours in the Rosaries 2 status race. Meanwhile, LTDL 2023 Chief Operating Officer Ime Abdul-Jalal said Astana would always maintain its reputation as a world team status in any major competition, and LTDL is no exception. He said teams like Astana will certainly not want to miss the opportunity to accumulate ranking points in the LTDL, especially towards the end of the season. The LTDL 2023, covering a distance of 1,280.3 kilometers, is organised by the Ministry of Youth and Sports through the National Sports Council MSN and the Malaysian National Cycling Federation MNCF. The race will start in Kerteh, Terengganu on 23rd September, ending at the Kuala Lumpur City Centre KLCC on 30th September. The LTDL 2023 will feature 132 riders from 22 teams as well as the national teams. Australia coach Tony Gustafsson is expecting a close match against England in the Women's World Cup semi-finals on Wednesday and is banking on the home crowd to lift the Matildas in the biggest game of their lives. While fourth-ranked England were semi-finalists at the last two World Cups and won the European Championship on home soil last year, 10th-ranked Australia have never previously been past the quarter-finals. Another sellout crowd of around 75,000 mark is expected at Stadium Australia for Wednesday's match, and most will be backing the home team. Gustafsson said his top striker Sam Kerr was fit to play, but he was not certain that she would start as her workload was still being managed because of the calf injury that ruled her out of Australia's first three matches. The co-hosts have already created history when their maiden run to the last of four are determined to keep breaking barriers and go even further. The Matildas' exploits have triggered a groundswell of support at home. Their heart-stopping penalty shootout win over France in the quarter-finals was the most viewed television sporting event in Australia since Cathy Freeman ran her iconic 400 metres race at the 2000 Sydney Olympics. Now move on, local football. Selangor FC have strengthened their grip on the Asian Football Confederation AFC Cup slot next season as they widen the gap in the second spot after taming Negeri Sembilan FC 4-0 in the Super League on Monday. In the action at the Tuanku Abdul Rahman Stadium in Paroi, Selangor dominated the first half but only managed one goal through import player Richmond Borki's shot from outside the penalty box in the 27th minute. Tan Cheng Ho's men turned it up a notch in the second half, scoring another 3 goals, namely through Aaron Delval's finish in the 59th minute, Yohandri Jose Orozco in the 75th minute, and defender Harith Haikal Adam Afkar in the 83rd minute. Selangor now have 46 points, 6 points above third place Kedah Darul Aman KDAFC with 2 games to spare. Meanwhile, Terengganu FC trashed Kelantan FC 8-0 in another Super League clash that was delayed by 1 hour and 30 minutes after the field was flooded due to heavy rain at the Sultan Muhammad IV Stadium in Kota Baru. The situation, however, did not affect the Turtles squad, coached by Tomislav Steinbruckner, scoring 4 goals in the first half through Ivan Mahmud, Nurilo Tuktasinov, Nik Muhammad Sharif Hasfi and Engku Muhammad Nur Shakir. The onslaught continued in the second half as the visitors only needed 2 minutes to score the 5th goal in the 47th minute through Muhammad Safwan Mazlan. Mamu grabbed his second and third goals of the game in the 53rd and 66th minutes, while substitute Muhammad Hakimi Abdullah added 1 in the 63rd minute. Terengganu remains 6th in the table with 32 points, while Kelantan are second lowest with 8 points.
Dengan misi mesti menang, semangat perjuangan terus diledakkan dalam setiap pertembungan. 14 pasukan, satu sorakan. Liga Super 2023 bersama kami di RTM, rakan penyiar MFL Liga Malaysia 2023.
Up next in our business segment, target group to enjoy fare free bus service. The Transport Ministry has introduced the My Bus Concession Pass, which offers free fares for the stage bus service starting today to a target group. It includes people with disabilities, the elderly and children, as well as school children ages 7 to 17. Its Minister Anthony Lok said over 2,500 target group users will benefit from the travel cost subsidy implemented under the Station Bus Service Transformation Program in Seremban, Ipoh and Johor Bahru, managed by the Land Public Transport Agency.
Golongan sasar warga negara Malaysia yang berkelayakan untuk menerima manfaat tambang percuma MyPass konsesi ini berbuka kepada beberapa kategori. Yang pertamanya, orang kelainan upaya OKU berdaftar dengan Jabatan Kebajikan Masyarakat. Yang kedua, warga emas berumur 60 tahun dan ke atas. Dan ketiga, kanak-kanak atau murid sekolah berumur 7 hingga 17 tahun yang bersekolah di kawasan liputan perkhidmatan MyBus. Mereka yang berkelayakan boleh mendaftar di kaunter-kaunter perkhidmatan MyBus dengan membawa dokumen pengenalan seperti MyCard, MyKit ataupun MyTentera.
Speaking when launching the MyBus concession card at the Seremban bus terminal today, he said the initiative helps to ease the burden of the rising cost of living on the target group. He added that this is in line with the Madani economy concept and the targeted free fares will be extended to the other states in stages. Financial institutions are urged to collaborate with government agencies and civil society organizations to create partnerships to drive sustainable development and support Malaysia's transition toward a green economy. In making the call, Natural Resources, Environment and Climate Change Minister Nik Ahmad said industry collaborations are the most powerful tool to support Malaysia's ambition. Hence, the banking sector needs to recognise its role as a catalyst for change.
Has already reached a critical juncture.
Speaking at the International Environmental, Social and Governance Conference today, the minister said the banking sector holds tremendous financial power capable of steering investment decisions towards greener alternatives.
By incorporating sustainable energy projects into their lending portfolios, financial institutions can incentivize and promote the development of clean energy infrastructure. This will be instrumental in accelerating the transition by providing businesses and individuals with the necessary capital to pursue renewable energy initiatives.
Nik said banks can foster a culture of environmental responsibility, encouraging businesses and individuals to transition towards resources, which could include offering financial incentives for reinstallations and energy-efficient projects. The Science, Technology and Innovation Ministry is actively developing a fundraising mechanism to establish the Malaysia Science Endowment MSE with the goal of raising 2 billion ringgit endowment fund. Its Minister Chang Lee Kang said MSE plays a crucial role in reducing dependence on government funding for the country's research and development R&D. Chang said the proposed model is a sharing of contributions by the government, corporations, high net worth individuals.
No time frame, but this is our target, 2 billion ringgit. Because by setting up a 2 billion ringgit endowment, we expect to have extra 100 million ringgit every year for our R&D. Additional on top of what government has given us. So this MSE is just to reduce our reliance on the government.
Speaking at the 2023 Dr. Ranjit Bhagwan Singh Research Grant recipient announcement today, he said the MSE is more than an alternative R&D funding for the nation. He explained that the implementation of this initiative would complement the current R&D funding landscape, propelling the nation's gross expenditure on research and development to a gross domestic product of 3.5% by 2030. It is aligned with the Madani economic framework and also envisioned under the National Science, Technology and Innovation Policy 2021-2030. The Employees Provident Fund EPF recorded a total investment income of 33.19 billion ringgit for the first half year ended 30th June. This is an increase of 9.44 billion ringgit compared with the 23.75 billion ringgit posted in the corresponding period in 2022. The EPF in a statement today said the amount was after netting off listed equity write-downs recorded for the period under review. EPF Chief Executive Officer Dr. Amir Hamzah Azizan said the EPF's agility and adaptability in its investment strategy paved the way for the investment managers to take advantage and capitalize on the market rally, which contributed to the higher return from equities during the period. He added this is in contrast to the equity market performance seen in the first half of last year, which saw several indices suffering significant declines, with most markets, including the US, posting their worst first half performance in decades. Dato' Seri Amir Hamzah also noted that the EPF's total investment income for the second quarter of this year stood at 18.03 billion ringgit, up 9.05 billion ringgit from 8.98 billion ringgit recorded in the same quarter last year. Equity investments continued to be the main contributor of income for the second quarter at 9.60 billion ringgit, while asset class generated 4.07 billion ringgit in income during the corresponding quarter in 2022. Embank Group is looking to double its green financing in financial year 2024 from 2 billion ringgit given out last year. Group Chief Executive Officer Datuk Sulaiman Muhammad Tahir said electric vehicle EV financing totaled 100 million ringgit, and this would grow substantially this year in view of the entry of many prominent EV players into the country.
So this year we hope to do even more, maybe double the size, because now you see a lot of BYDs and Teslas and the BMWs, and we work very closely with these two partners, which is Mercedes-Benz and also Tesla.
Speaking to reporters on the sidelines of the International Environment, Social and Governance Conference shaping today for tomorrow, he said the group is also eyeing a 6% growth in loan disbursements of up to 7 billion ringgit for the financial year ending 31st March 2024. The projection was based on the bank's assets valued at 130 billion ringgit. In the financial year ended 31st March 2023, Embank Group recorded 8.5% loan growth of 10.2 billion ringgit to 130.2 billion ringgit across all segments. Strong policies and regulatory frameworks are needed to realise Malaysia's National Energy Transition Roadmap (NETR). KPMG said to deliver real progress according to the roadmap requires infrastructural and legislative reforms on a national scale. In a release statement today, KPMG said the roadmap is the strongest signal yet of the Malaysian government's commitment to achieving the country's aspirations for net zero emissions by 2050. It added the wider number of government agencies and regulatory bodies engaged in the preparation of the roadmap is a stride forward in progressive collaboration. In order to achieve the targeted 70% renewable energy capacity by 2050, the roadmap is expected to open up investment opportunities of between 435 billion ringgit and 1.85 trillion ringgit by 2050. This gives clarity to investors and stakeholders on the efforts needed to achieve green power generation and grid integration of renewable energy sources. KPMG said to fully realise the ambitions envisaged in the roadmap will require a concerted approach from the local and international community to undertake further initiatives. Alright, so that's it from us this evening in our top story, payment scheme to be identified for housewives. I'm Shuhaida Arifin, Malaysia Madani, tekad perpaduan penuhi harapan. Thank you for watching.